Hi there. It's kind of late right now. I slept the whole damn day, as I normally, you know, do when I work graveyard shift. And I got up late and had to do my thing. Had errands I had to have done. I had to eat. I had to work out, and I got it done. It's behind me now. I'm off this evening, so I figure I'll go ahead and do a video, and maybe, just maybe I might go and work out maybe in a few hours early this morning so I don't have to do it this evening. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to be one step ahead in that regard. But anyway, in between all my activities previous to my sitting my ass here down here at the computer, um, I gotta do what I like to do a lot, and that is to check up on the news and check up on current events and check up articles and check up videos um, because I am a political junkie and it's my fuel for living at times. And that's what I do. That's what how I operate. Some people think it's annoying. I think it's annoying some too in some ways, but at the same time, it's like being a heroin addict. I got to have my fix, or I go into withdrawals. Believe me, I've tried many times to not do so, but then I go crazy if I don't. So, as I said, it's my fuel for living. But let me get to the serious politics at hand. Um, well, you got AOC, and then you got Joe Manchin. They belong to the same political party. That's the Democratic Party. In any normal functioning democracy, if you were to put AOC and Joe Manchin in another Western developed country, they would be in different political parties. If AOC moved to the UK and Joe Manchin moved to the UK tomorrow, they would be in fucking different parties. AOC will obviously be in the British Labour Party, and Joe Manchin would not just be a Tory, a British Conservative Party member, he would actually be on the right wing end of the British Conservative Party. Uh, Basically, not being probably being to the right of the late Margaret Thatcher, being to the right of some of the really fairly atrocious right wing figures in the UK today. That is the Overton window we have here in the United States, where someone like AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Joe Manchin of West Virginia are in the same political party. Only in America that such a thing can happen. As I said, I mean, you could put Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, same damn thing. Bernie Sanders would be a labor person. Hillary Clinton would be a Tory person, maybe not to the right of Joe Manchin, but still to the right of the late Margaret Thatcher. That's how bad these corporate Democrats are here in the United States. These corporate Democrats are to the right of Margaret Thatcher of Great Britain, who was one of the most negative figures in British politics and British political history in the last, I would say, in the last 50 years, last half century. One of the most damaging, most destructive figures in British politics was Margaret Thatcher. What does it tell you that Margaret Thatcher is better, was better than Hillary Clinton, and was better than Joe Manchin, who, as I said, not a compliment to Margaret Thatcher, but it tells you what a piece of shit Hillary Clinton and Joe Manchin are. That's my point. And belonging to the same party. So in 2016 and 2020, I had to defend Bernie Sanders nonstop. and that's about to be over. Not that I stop that I will stop defending Bernie Sanders, but getting over the last two presidential year cycle primaries, whereby I was cheated out of voting for Bernie Sanders for president, and he's likely not to run in 2024. Even though I do conclude with my commentaries. Until next time, peace and Bernie Sanders for president in the year 2024. I sincerely mean that, but it's likely that he's not going to run. And as I said, if AOC runs in 2024, she'll more than likely will get my support. And there are other candidates out there that I will look favorably to if she doesn't run, and they would run. I mean, I would support Andrew Yang if he will run again, but on a conditional basis that Andrew Yang needs to make it clear that he supports Medicare for all. He was just about he was a little too libertarian economically for my liking, but I like his UBI plan, and that set very well with me. And I would have hoped that if Bernie Sanders would have become president and be the one being sworn in January, that he would have had a position for Andrew Yang and his administration. But anyhow, as I said, I need to get over 2016, and I need to get over 2020. I really do need to move on with my life, politically speaking. But Joe Biden defeated Donald Trump, and I know Donald Trump is not budging, and he's being a sore loser, presumably, but maybe he's sticking around because of the runoffs and down in Georgia. And if the Democrats can pull it off in Georgia, which I doubt is going to happen, but if they do pull it off, that means that the U.S. Senate will barely tip in favor of the Democrats. The positive aspect of it is that Bernie Sanders, his committee assignments and his chairmanship would be very profound. He will have a very, he will be somebody that the powers that be will have to take seriously. I am disappointed that Biden tried to find a sneaky way to prevent Bernie Sanders from being labor secretary and Elizabeth Warren from being commerce secretary. I'm very, very, very disappointed because if somehow minds are changed and Bernie Sanders is the labor secretary and Elizabeth Warren is commerce secretary, I may look at Biden and Harris very favorably at that point, and I may become a very supportive all of a sudden. I'm pretty reasonable. There's things that Biden can do that could turn me around. I mean, if he all of a sudden had an epiphany and say, you know what, we're going to go with Medicare for all, not only would I turn around and start to support Biden, I would become his fucking biggest cheerleader you can imagine. I'm very reasonable. But okay, let's say that he gets pragmatic and he fights like hell for a public option where there is a Medicare buy-in for those between 50 and 65. Even if it doesn't pass and he fervently fights like hell and gave the Republicans hell and even some corporate Democrats hell in the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate, I could be persuaded to start to support him. But if Joe Biden ends up being like Barack Obama on a very conservative day for Barack Obama, or being Bush and Cheney on a not so right-wing day, more centricity day, that's not going to cut it for me. And unfortunately, that's what I see happening. So you got Biden, and you got all the vultures of corporate Democrats, and their Republican ally, people like John Kasich, going around lecturing, lecturing the left, lecturing the Democratic Party to not listen to the left. And I have to hear people like John Kasich, who I would probably like as a next door neighbor, but as somebody who's of influence that takes care of policy for government, I don't want a damn union buster whispering into Joe Biden's shell-like ear or Kamala Harris's shell-like ear. You know, the fact that Claire McCaskill is going to sit there and lecture the left, and then and then you got the usual Fox News. I'm drunk on Fox News. I'm drunk on One American Network, Newsmax people who think that there's not any difference between Nancy Pelosi and Rashida Tlaib, for example. And now you got Joe Manchin apologizing for being a liberal, basically, saying, we're not that kind of Democrats. We don't believe in Medicare for all. We don't believe in the Green New Deal. AOC and Bernie Sanders, they're the fringe. They're the fringe. I'm a moderate conservative Democrat that I go and as a Democrat, I'm the Democrat that gives Donald Trump sloppy blowjobs. That's the kind of Democrat Joe Manchin is. Joe, get the fuck out of the way. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of the way. You're an impediment to progress. I respect, as much as I despise Mitch McConnell, at least the man is honest. That's who he is. He's in the party to be the piece of shit that he is. You, Joe Manchin, you're the problem. You're more of a problem than Mitch McConnell. As painful as it for me to say this, because nobody despises Mitch McConnell more than I do. You got your nerve to sit there and attack AOC. You're not fit. Joe Manchin, I want you to hear what I have to say, Senator Joe Manchin. You're not fit to lick the soles off of AOC's shoes. You're not worthy. You couldn't hold a candle to her. If she's the future of the Democratic Party, I am fucking delighted. And I hope that Nancy Pelosi gets a fucking migraine over the thought of AOC surpassing her. Now, AOC is discouraged because she's got to battle Republicans daily. But now she's also got to battle corporate Democrats daily, too. And my words toward AOC, if she's listening, do not be discouraged by this shit. I mean, you got a bigger burden on your shoulders than I ever could. I'm just a loudmouth YouTube guy that's here to be obnoxious online at times or goofy, just venting out my frustrations since the early and mid 1990s when I realized that there's no significant, meaningful difference between Democrats and Republicans. Anyway, most Democrats and Republicans. You, on the other hand, you took on Joe Crowley, who was a powerful Democrat, second to Nancy Pelosi, with meager funds. You knocked that asshole out of the way. And how grateful I was. One of the best things that happened in 2018 was the election of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And, of course, the re-election of Bernie Sanders. The thing about it is, I loved it. I mean, AOC, I love the people. I love it that you piss off the wrong people. I love the fact that you give Nancy Pelosi a migraine. And I look for the day where you can primary challenge Chuck Schumer and knock that smug asshole out of the way and become the next senator for New York. Because frankly, I kind of think you need to do that before you run for president. But if you run for president in 2024, you will have my backing. Uh, I understand your frustrations, but please, for the love of God, stop calling Nancy Pelosi Mama Bear. I know you don't mean that. It's embarrassing. He's saying that to to those to those cackling bitches on the View, who are also not worthy to be around your presence. AOC, I hope you are the future of the Democratic Party. And if you're not the future of the Democratic Party, then people like yourselves and the slightly expanded squad needs to do what I've been encouraging the left to do for the past 30 years, and that is we need our own damn fucking Labor Party. It's high in time for one. A Labor Party where theoretically the unions come in and are part of that political party. A political party that would be an official affiliate to the Socialist International, the worldwide federation of democratic socialists, social democratic, and labor parties around the world. We need that. As I said, I'm pragmatic enough to realize if it can be done in the Democratic Party, I'm all for it. If we have to go fucking independent all the way, I'm all for it. But we need to stop being in a rut, and we need to make social democracy a force to be reckoned with in the United States. It's not as hard as people think it is. Somehow in the 1980s and the 1990s, that the Democratic Party felt like the only way they could bring down the Reagan Revolution is to, if you can't beat them, join them. In other words, start corporate money left and right. Oh, well, we'll just go take we don't need that union money anymore. Oh, no, we don't need the labor people anymore. We got big corporations, but it's okay. It's okay because they pretend to be tolerant. Tolerance is great. I mean, as I said, I don't want to sound like I'm neutral on social issues or I'm some closeted social conservative, because I'm not. I am such a open, tolerant, staunch civil libertarian. It is not funny. I'm wildly civil libertarian. I was supporting gay marriage back in the time when even a lot of LGBTQ community people that I knew back in the late 80s, early 90s didn't even think about that in any serious way. I'm not saying that makes me wonderful. I'm just the weird kind of person that I just trapped myself into good politics. The social democratic policies is a winner for the American people. For some reason, the Democratic Party think that being corporate as hell is the way you win people over. You don't do it that way. You do it through old-fashioned social democracy. Even in fucking red states, the raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour is popular. During the Obama years, when the Republicans were winning in the 2014 midterms and the Republicans increased their seats in the House and actually took over the U.S. Senate in places like Kentucky, it was a referendum on the ballot that they wanted Medicare and Medicaid expansion into the states. Governor Matt Bevin didn't want that. Fuck him. But the people of Kentucky, even the people that were voting for Matt Bevin and Mitch McConnell, why the hell would you vote for Mitch McConnell or Matt Bevin when you want Medicare and Medicaid expansion into your state? you're correct to want the Medicare, Medicaid expansion. That was the only good shit that existed with Obamacare. That was people were like, "Fuck yeah, sign me on. I want Medicare. I mean, excuse me, I want Medicare, Medicaid expansion." That wins. Medicare for all. The centrist Democrats, the corporate Democrats, the diet Republican Democrats that were like, "Oh, we're not for Medicare for all," got their asses beat, and the Republicans are now like I think like 7 seats short of tipping over to the U.S. House. The Democrats actually lost seats in this past election. It wasn't because the Democrats got too woke and too far left. It was because people got tired of the Democrats being just like the Republicans. They might as well vote for the real thing. Every Democrat that campaigned on Medicare for all won. Safe districts, of course. Same thing with purple districts or competitive districts. People are waking up. There was a time when I was for single payer Medicare for all 30 years ago, and people would be like, "You want free health care? I never heard anything so crazy." And I still run across that mindset today, but significantly far less than I used to. Medicare for all is winning. If the Democrats had any fucking common sense, they would make Medicare for all their number one issue. The Green New Deal is a winning issue. We're talking about the Green New Deal being a culmination of many reforms that could better the lives of the American people. Basically, FDR's second Bill of Rights, basically which you call for medical care for all and a union living wage job and all the good things that other countries take for granted. That would be part of the Green New Deal. Um, Full employment, job guarantee. The Humphrey Hawkins Act of 1976 could become reality. It's actually in the law books. The problem with the Humphrey Hawkins bill, the act, is that it's not even being enforced. You can do it right now. Enforce it. We can have protectionism that's humane or fair trade. We can even have regular free trade if we did it the way it's done in other countries. Just having a universal healthcare system alone could keep the manufacturing jobs here and do aggressive global trade where it actually would work for all the American people. But if we can't have that, then I am for old-fashioned protectionism. This Green New Deal would be cleaning the environment. I mean, seriously, encouraging businesses to work on alternative energies, which will lead to more living wage jobs. It's an idea whose time has come. Red states could become blue states by choosing your battles strategically. And even though I don't necessarily want to give advice to the Republicans, I will say this. You start to become red Tories. If you don't know what a red Tory is, look it up. You Republicans start to advocate social democratic measures, you might actually get somewhere too. I don't care who advocates it. I just want common sense to prevail. So yes, Joe Manchin needs to get the hell out of the way. Nancy Pelosi, Claire McCaskill, John Kasich, my advice to you, Governor Kasich, is to go back into the fucking Republican Party. I appreciate the fact that you're a saner voice when it comes to today's Republican Party. But how sad the Overton window is that you're considered a moderate when over a generation ago you would have been considered far right. But the far right back then is now considered the center, whereas the actual right went even further right. Ah! AOC, keep fighting the good fight. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you were triggered, well, comment anyway. Share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you that if you're passionate about something and you have a platform, utilize it. If you don't have a platform, develop that platform, utilize it, because we're all the muckrakers of our time. And most importantly, help make this channel grow um, by hitting that subscribe button. And until next time, I am American Social Democracy, peace, and Bernie Sanders for president in the year 2024, or AOC if she decides to run.